Last time on The Lion and His Mane.
Do you know who's in danger at a hen's do?
Police.
No, male strippers, man.
Yes.
They will get
I was
scratched
talking to you about
and
this.
beaten. And this dude walks up with a bottle of wine, jams a bottle of wine on the top of it.
no.
I'm like,
Oh,
Like-
God.
and I'm just getting across the road. There's a party across the road, and these guys are up on a fence. Build a wall. And I just start chanting with them. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to ramble! Welcome to episode 2 of Leo the Lion and Slain the Mane podcast, right? Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's episode 10.2.
Yeah, it is, because we actually just had an absolutely brilliant 10 minutes, possibly the best 10 minutes of airtime we've ever had.
It was a good yarn.
And I'll be honest, I didn't have the mics on.
No.
No.
Doesn't matter. We're made of yarn.
We are.
We got this.
Absolutely. So look, timestamp wise, if you're wondering what's going on, we're in the middle of the US election. Biden is winning. Trumposaurus, he's calling for, hey, stop the votes, man. Is this guy corrupt?
Yeah.
He's doing, and no one knows more about corruption than I do.
Yeah. Halloween was last weekend.
Guy
and
Fawkes.
Remember, the 5th of November was yesterday.
Yes. Good.
Yeah.
And you know what? I never remember fireworks, Guy Fawkes. I never ever remember that because my birthday's on the 2nd, and I'm always surprised that on that weekend that, there's fireworks. Oh, boom.
Oh,
Hello.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, brother. Same to you. You were 37 not too long
that was
back.
ages ago back now. But when I was little, we used to make a guy.
We used to do the same.
Yeah.
My uncle lives out in the country, out in Southland, and he would build a massive bonfire, and we'd get old pairs of overalls and stuff them with hay and put petrol in the pockets and shit and throw them on a fire. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so we did the same thing. So we get old clothes, stuff it full of hay, and then make a guy, a dummy guy. We put him in a little cart, my little red wagon type of thing, roll him up into Ponsonby, and then sit outside the shops up there and sit there saying, penny for the guy, which was an old thing apparently they did in England. And people who know about it just loved, it's like busking without any effort.
Themed busking.
Yeah, and people who know it, they love to give you some money for it. And we'd basically just sit outside the Spaceys. So we'd sit there and take turns
What's
saying...
the Spaceys?
Spaceys, like an arcade, with the space machines.
Space
Invaders.
Named after Space Invaders,
We called them Spaceys, yeah.
Right.
So we'd take turns.
We were so basic, we just called them arcades.
Yeah, back when it was 20 cents a game. Oosh, back in the day.
I only remember the insert 50-cent coin. I don't remember anything
I
under
don't
that.
remember the 20 cent, because it went 20 cent, 40 cent, 50 cent, then $1, then $2.
And after 50 cent, the game. See, I tied that in. We're talking about games.
no.
The game's also a rapper and says 50
Someone
cent.
shoot him in the tongue. He's still got a bullet in his tongue. So, 50 cent. 50 cent.
In his tongue.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He was on
That is not one of the 9 times he was shot in the tongue.
because it went through his cheek and got lodged in the back of his tongue. And I've seen
Okay, that's quite
was
serious.
it the Graham Norton show with other famous people that he's got to go and feel the back of his tongue, and they're like, "Oh man, I'm gonna keep touching it,"
Yeah.
and he's like, "Please don't, your hand tastes gross."
Yeah.
But-
They're like, so does your water.
so with the guy, right, we would sit there and get change, and one of us would go in and play Mortal Kombat or something, and then the other one would be outside saying penny for the guy, and then we'd do a swap. And then that night, there'd be a community bonfire. This was really cool. People don't really do this anymore. We'd go to the park, and there's a community bonfire. All the families would come down. We'd let off fireworks, and we'd biff the guy on the bonfire. That was the tradition.
We did a bit of that. It's very similar to sort of how I grew up doing fireworks.
Yeah. I don't think enough people did it now, keep up that tradition. They surely don't keep it up now.
I remember enjoying it thoroughly because I always had a thing for just dislike of rules in general. It's a weird thing. I don't know why. But then one year, my dad gets the one you're supposed to... You remember the ones you're supposed to nail...
to authority.
You're supposed to nail to the fence, right? And then you light it and it spins.
Oh, the Catherine wheel.
My dad's like, yeah, fuck that. And just throws it off the side of the hill, lands down in the neighbour's house. And we're like, yeah, Dad, you're so rebellious.
Do you know why that firework is called a Catherine wheel?
Didn't know it was.
Well, it's called a Catherine wheel. It screams. And
It should be called a Karen wheel.
Because a woman called Catherine was put on a large wheel, tied to it as a torture device, and it was spun. And as she was being spun, she screamed. And so when you light those on, you put them on fences, and you put them on fences because that's the way she was up. You don't put it like you would a helicopter blade, a rotor blade. You put it side on the wall because that's how she was hung on it, and when she was spun, and it goes, It's basically a reminder of a form of torture.
That's a bit messed up. The old human race has a lot of messed up shit like that, eh?
Well, I don't think we should be doing fireworks anymore. Animals are getting
Animals are getting
harmed
fucked up
by
from
it.
it. You're right.
But also the world's much drier now that it's hotter, and there's been a lot of fires without fireworks. There've been a lot of fires with just people saying what gender their baby is.
Hey, look, speaking of the world being a bit hotter, this is a little bit of a tangent, but so I watched the Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, and Tim Dillon podcast.
Are you allowed to talk about other podcasts on a podcast?
Yes.
Because they might just turn this one off and go listen to Joe Rogan.
Do it afterwards.
Yeah, do it afterwards because we know he's good, all right?
Okay, but
He's had lots of experience.
Yeah.
We're trying to work on this. Watch us grow. It's way more interesting.
We've uploaded 10 of these. He's uploaded 1,556.
Holy moly. And he's already rich. Leave him alone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But look, I'll make Alex Jones on there. I mean, he's a massive conspiracy
who's
guy.
Alex? Oh, okay.
A massive conspiracy guy, runs the InfoWars thing on social media and shit like that. And he's been trying to break in, well, not trying to break in, but break open, I should say, the whole Bohemian Grove and all that sort of shit, right?
Yeah.
It's a big conspiracies involving the elite and the rich. I don't believe everything he says, but I do find his perspective quite interesting, you know? I will listen to him and then I will Google the shit he says and say, oh, okay, like I can get some of that, right? But the point he makes is that, and I've heard this since childhood, that we are actually just in a warm point in a ridiculously sized ice age. And he reckons the global warming is not necessarily a terrible thing because there was predictions made through the 60s, 70s and the 80s, I believe, that would say that they believed the planet was going to freeze by 2020, but because of all this carbon we're burning has kept it from doing that. So that's another perspective on it. I don't know how necessarily true that is, but it's a very interesting perspective.
Yeah. And there's another one that a meteor hit in Mexico. And that cast, it, killed off dinosaurs and things like that. But even worse was that it kicked up so much dust that blocked the sunlight and then created the ice age. And that we would naturally not be at this temperature, and it's only kind of starting to regulate itself back again. But the reality is we can't live in a world that's hotter.
We're built for what it is now.
What it is now. In fact,
we're reaching our limits.
I mean, one of the things that is really good to see, that documentary on Netflix that David Attenborough did, Life on This
I haven't
Planet.
watched it yet, but I'm meaning to, though.
You should definitely watch that because he talks about, it has a name when the temperature is perfect like it has been and it doesn't waver. It has a specific name that I've forgotten. But that allowed the world to grow in the way it has. It's allowed all these species to evolve and to grow into things and for us to
The word isn't lambda, is it?
No, it's a real cool...
That's what it is in the automotive world. I just wonder.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's a real cool...
Although that relates to fuel and air, but,
real cool word. It's like real sexy and sciencey.
Is it just because David Attenborough said it?
Maybe. I'm not going to deny that could be the case.
That man could sell like a hell of a bloody meal or something. And here we see the wild white glutton eating the sugary donut.
Oh, the donut.
Look at the calories just piling on.
But so
person.
that perfect temperature is what we're mucking with now. For whatever reason that it's happening, and I think people saying, us putting carbon into the air is just really good for it, is like probably one of the most dangerous thought patterns on it.
Well, another point is why everything was so big back in the dinosaur days is that there was a massive amount of carbon around. I think it's something between, it's like 50 times more back then, or 500 times more. It was a ridiculous amount. And that's why the plants absorb it. There's more oxygen.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying, I'm just repeating his perspective is all.
But we don't have the same amount of plants.
That's true.
We are burning the plants to make more carbon.
Yeah.
Then we have nothing to get rid of the carbon.
Yeah.
I mean, we are an inch off of being Venus, which is like sulfuric hell. Our sister planet.
You did right.
We're about the same distance from the moon, from the sun. Sorry, not the moon. Jeez, that is not accurate. Fact checked that. So about the same distance from the sun, so we can have the same kind of temperatures and stuff like that. But they just had a lot more volcanoes go off. They, like anything lives there. Demons. The demons have had a lot more volcanoes go off, and that created the greenhouse effect, which cooked the planet, which made more volcanoes go off. And it's liquid rock over there.
It's a horrible dark cycle, isn't it?
Yeah. And we could easily end up in that situation if we put you remember we used to talk about the greenhouse effect a lot back in the day. We haven't mentioned it at all during global warming.
Oh no, media.
Interesting, eh?
Yeah.
But so that's another one of the theories is that things have created an artificial ice age that shouldn't have happened.
Sure.
But then we shouldn't have happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's all a happy accident. You know what else I heard? Well, while I'm on the topic of the conspiracy thing, you know that, what's his name? And he came out about Area 51 in 1989. Bob Lazar.
Oh, the with the glasses?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so he did the Joe Rogan podcast last year.
Oh, wow.
And he's got the Netflix doco,
Go
which
check
is
that out after this one.
it's very interesting, don't get me wrong. But he reckons when he was working there, because he was working on some sort of weird extraterrestrial craft, and I will say that, is it the Pentagon has just come out, and they've admitted that they've found craft that are not of this world.
Oh,
That
really?
Apparently...
Damn, I'm going to have to look that up. And do
Yeah,
a
I have
fact check
to
as well.
fact check that, but I heard that yesterday when I was
It's
watching.
very unlike the Pentagon to explain.
I think it was Pentagon was one of them.
When
But-
are they going to explain the plane that flew into them?
well, who knows?
And they found like multiple bits from different planes. and
Why
they're
is
like,
there
"It's
a
all
row of seats? Should they not have been disintegrated? Oh, these are indestructible seats. They made they made it Batman. They're actually Batman seats.
If you're the Pentagon, why do you have a camera that takes photos instead of film? Like,
My point, though,
well, you know,
He
it was a
reckons
tough
when
day.
he was on Area 51,
Yeah.
like working on the base, S4 it's actually called, that he was told that they believe humans are the product of accelerated evolution, which I found a very interesting statement.
And yet we've stopped evolving due to we're like tool makers.
We are.
And we're
We're Santa's elves.
Yeah, well, we've kind of, in a weird way, hindered our own evolution by not having to struggle. And usually it's the struggle that makes you change to adapt. And
Well,
we don't need to adapt. We adapt tools to fit that role for us.
Has it just changed what we create? Because obviously in a survival...
I guess you could call that evolution, our growth in technology.
in a survival
Still can't
situation...
make a phone that won't kill itself when it's being charged, though. I mean,
Oh, yeah, and try dropping your iPhone. Good luck with that. We have indestructible bulletproof glass, but not in your iPhone.
I own a lighter with a lifetime warranty. Why
Yeah.
can't I have a phone with one?
That's why. I ran out of breath.
But,
sorry.
so, and speaking of that, so back to the fireworks thing, I don't think we should get rid of the celebrations. I think we should change it up.
Modify it.
And we did have a little ramble about
Innovate.
this in episode 10.1. And we came to a great conclusion. We were talking about laser shows instead. Or
like a
you
big
know,
smoke...
big smoke thing with lasers through it, or something.
I want to see a real-life Dragon Ball Z battle of holograms. And
Holograms.
I want that because I love the idea of that. And either that or I want to see a real-life Yu-Gi-Oh battle, thanks.
Okay. So on that point, what we're saying is we could swap out fireworks with holograms. We've already done the hard work. Starting is the hardest part. We just
Concerts-
need some guy to do the easy bit and
Concerts already do it.
develop it. Yeah,
So
we've got
we-
Michael Jackson and Tupac are back alive. They've figured it out.
And Elvis the Pelvis, baby.
Elvis the Pelvis.
He is a damn seductive hologram.
Oh, jeez, he surely is. That's a shame he's a hologram when he does that.
Did he lose weight as a hologram? I don't know. He's a fan of
which
cheeseburgers,
era,
wasn't he?
Which era hologram you pick. But, yeah, so if you had holograms, right, and we figure it out on a larger stage, I mean, we could have Godzilla walking through the city. We could have Dragon Ball fights like above the harbour. But then we evolve it from there. Now we've got that technology to do holograms on a huge scale that people can watch from far away. We could then have a stadium where they play Yu-Gi-Oh! And the holograms, Bubba.
What about a real-life Pokemon battle? Well, real-life-ish.
Ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gaming could take on a whole new phase.
Oh, stop it.
You're welcome, world.
Yeah.
You know,
You heard it here first.
sometimes all you need is a good idea.
Copyright
And-
2020, Leo the Lion slain the main.
Yeah, somebody pay us, please.
Royalties, man.
We do this easily. Somebody should hire us for this kinds of
Pay us for
thought-provoking
rambling.
work.
This is good rambles.
we
Pass
will
the rambles to the left.
We will ramble out ideas that fix the world. But obviously, you know, Godzilla breathing fire isn't going to catch the place on fire. And I mean, will it freak out pets? Maybe. Probably freak out a lot of people who don't know what's going on.
Oh, wouldn't that be funny?
That'd be really hilarious.
It'll be War of the Worlds all over again.
Dude, somebody will put like a hologram of a nuke going off, and everyone will freak out and buy all the toilet paper.
There's just like a pixelated explosion
Just
because I didn't perfect that bit.
A giant coronavirus.
What about-
just floating down, and they're like, "Oh no, it's happened!"
What about if it's in the middle of it and it buffers? You just get the YouTube spinning logo. Goku's about to get punched in the face here. Hang on. Oh, there it is.
Just pause it and let it load for a bit, and then press play again after it.
There's some real rich person who owns the thing. Can you pause it? I need to go to the toilet.
yeah.
Yeah, all right, Jim. No worries.
Somebody's just got a remote. Blip.
Sorry, world. Yeah.
But I mean, that'd be cool, and it'd be a good alternative. We still get to celebrate stuff. I mean, it wouldn't have a lot to do with actual guy, you know, from him trying to blow up the government. And on that note, America looks like it's going to blow itself up.
Well, I feel like this is a finale to a season something of America.
Well, it's the season finale of the series, it almost seems like, doesn't it?
No, well, they'll always come back next year.
You reckon?
It's one of those series, mate. Yeah. And it's always a sequel, it's never a prequel.
God, yeah. It's so terrifying. I mean, I'm genuinely concerned for their own safety. I mean, but they're so divided. Even the votes, when you look at the votes coming through, they're winning at 51% in certain areas. Like, it's so divided up and down the country.
And it's such a backwards voting system. You know a bit about it. Would you mind explaining it simply?
Yeah. So what really counts to nominate your president is the electoral college votes. And every state gets a certain amount. So, for instance, Florida gets 27, 29 electoral votes. It's dependent on, I think, population size. I think DC gets like three electoral votes. You know, the capital.
Surely New York gets a bit? Because that's a big old
I'm not
place,
sure. No,
isn't it?
well, where's New York? New York's not the state.
True.
I don't know where that is. But so that's how they kind of.
I was
divvy
thinking
it
of
out.
New York State, but yeah, all good. Yeah.
So they call them battlegrounds, where it's these big chunky ones. There's one that gets 33 electoral votes, and Florida gets 29 electoral votes. So you want those, and you want to get 270 electoral college votes. Right now, what happens is in that state. So say, for instance, in Florida, where you get 29 electoral votes for winning the whole area, everyone's voting for their candidate. And whoever wins at the end of all of the little areas inside of Florida, whoever gets the majority there, they don't need a clean sweep. They just win the majority. They are considered to have a clean sweep. The minority who voted don't count for anything at that point. So the people's vote is going towards the electoral college votes. The electoral college are pledged to vote towards whichever side wins, but they don't have to. That's one of the weirdest parts of it. So the people don't really vote for their president. They vote to have the electoral vote for that person, and then those people don't even need to vote for that person that you voted them to vote for.
It's a bit of a backwards system, isn't it?
Yeah, but it gets way more complicated because the people are actually voting for, like, who's going to sit in there. You know, who's their representative for Florida, who da-da-da-da. Like, there's a lot of other things that those votes are doing just for them in their little area. And that changes a lot of what we're hearing in the media. Like, we just care about who's going to be the president. But for them, they're like, you know, I want this Democratic guy, or I don't want that Democratic guy. I want this Republican to be in here. Not Democratic, Democrat. But I want this Republican guy being our governor. That's that kind of stuff. And that's kind of why they're voting in there as well. They're not necessarily just voting for the president. But the electoral votes, basically, you've got to get 270. Right now, 6 away.
Yeah, Biden's 264 out of 270 and Trump's 214 out of 270.
Yeah.
Hence why I think Donald Trump's not used to losing, and that's why he's going, I'll use my billions of dollars and all my lawyers to win this.
Oh my God, but it's so split. He's trying to block them because Democrats generally vote by mail, and even more so nowadays because they don't want to leave their house and get in line with crazy Republicans who aren't wearing masks during coronavirus.
Isn't that just the craziest bloody season finale?
Oh, it's just nuts. Honestly, it's just crazy.
And they're leaving it at a cliffhanger in December, and we won't know what's going on till January. So that's like, like the end of a Shortland Street season, right?
Yeah, so the electoral votes, they can change their mind in January. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just so complicatedly bizarre. Like, it doesn't need to be this kind of archaic. But they have Trump supporters in a state where Trump's losing saying, count the vote outside the ballot places, which they're doing, right? They are counting the vote. They haven't stopped there. They will count the
That is their
votes.
job.
That's what
That's
they
how it
want to
works.
do. And then where Trump has won, he has Trump supporters outside going, stop the count, stop the count.
That's all right. We got what we wanted. We've got what we came here for.
It is so mind-numbingly hypocritical. Just to sit there and watch this stuff.
But I will say,
nonsense.
it's like going to see a concert and we've got a pretty sweet seat to watch it. We don't have to be involved with what's going on the stage, but man, can we see it.
Yeah, but it might be one of those situations where it's like, thank you for coming and watching the concert. As you just saw the ending there, we've locked the doors and started a fire.
Yes.
And you're like, what? No.
In fact, we had some looters in the audience. Get ready to hand over your belongings or
New
they
Zealand,
will kill
we
you.
see you way in the back, far, far away from where we started the fire, but it will reach you eventually.
Jacinda, I don't think you bought enough fire extinguishers to protect us from America.
Yeah. Can you build a wall that will stop your crazy coming out and just build it all the way around your country?
Much like on South Park, though, when another country builds a wall, like Canada built a wall in South Park.
Yeah.
And
We got back there.
We went over there. Yeah, we got some cool shit behind
We
here.
got cool stuff. Not for you. Get out of here.
What do you got back there? I'm going over. God damn it! Garrison gets shot in the cannon and falls down Niagara Falls.
It's such a strange. I mean, that country is bizarre. Like, they're kind of, some people call them the world police because they go to other countries and
Do you mean like Team America, World Police?
Yeah.
America!
Hell yeah. But they do. So they go to other countries and they kind of impose their belief system on countries that really they shouldn't be over there for.
It's madness, right?
And, well, kind of it is. And then it's also for their capitalist growth. You know, they want to get that money out.
Well, they pray to God. Gold or drugs.
Yeah.
They pray to that.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
That's what God stands for in 2020, man.
So,
well, at least in that respect.
So world police, right? So they want people to get rid of their nukes. They're telling other countries, you get rid of your nukes or you're in trouble.
But we'll keep ours.
Oh, yeah, they've kept theirs. And they're the only country who's ever used one on another country. In fact, they've done it twice. And no other country's ever fired a nuke at anyone else.
Hey, but a point to be made there, Hiroshima does make goddamn fine doorways, as we spoke about in the previous podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, America dropped a bomb, sure. But you were under Hiroshima doorway, probably did all right.
See these arcways.
Ain't no problems there. That's high quality engineering, man.
Honestly, just a strange country to have that much power in our world today. And I think if they're going to act the way they do, policing the world as they try and all the rest of it, then we should get to vote on their crazy ass electoral college election crap. Because really, their people's votes don't count. Like they really don't. They say your votes count, and they kind of don't.
They're like, not. It's like a Borat.
They sure seem like they do, but they don't. They're not. Nuts.
Your votes count, not. No, you got to pause before the not.
Oh, pause not.
Yes. Well played.
No, there's it's a very strange. It's a strange time, man. Like it's a weird time to be alive. You mentioned before when I was talking about not having a phone and like kind of not wanting it, that I was born in the wrong time, and I'm like, yeah, I feel it. I reckon I would have kicked ass in the 60s, 70s. Oh, no, it was pretty crappy then, too.
I would have done a few cheap orgies.
Yeah.
The 60s was the age of orgies, man.
I think it was also where kind of AIDS popped up.
Yeah. There's a lot of things.
Acid was pure, man.
Yeah, and it was $1 according to those old photos I've seen.
Yeah.
Acid, $1. What?
Yeah.
How much?
Because it was all about love.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's just too much crazy around the world, to be honest. And I think we've got to make those little changes, man. Like hologram fights instead of fireworks. We got to adapt. We got to, as David Attenborough said, we need to get back as a part of nature because we've pulled ourselves outside of it. It's a real big problem for nature.
As that, I believe he's an African-American man. He's a meme and he's pointing at his head smiling. Modern problems require modern solutions.
Yeah.
And he's dead right, man.
Nobody likes change, which is really weird because some of it is like clear that there needs to be change. Like plastic bags. We're not doing plastic bags anymore. Good.
I like that.
Took too long.
Yep. But hey, it eventually happened, so I can live with that. It did come. And I love that. You know, what I don't like is bloody litterers. I made a bloke.
Is what?
Litterers.
Oh, people who litter.
People who litter.
Yeah, litterers.
I said it wrong.
You don't like
people
illiterate people or people who are literate?
No, it's fine. Picture books are for everyone.
I can't read this. It's a picture book. I'm telling you, I can't read.
Oh, sorry.
It's just a picture of something, and I don't know what the picture is.
Get in the Braille book. There's a lot of dots.
Let's just read them with your fingers.
There's a nice feeling dots.
Man, life's tough.
I made a bloke pick up some rubbish the other day.
Did you?
Down the road with me and Jethro getting a coffee. Yeah. And
Did you just biff it on the ground?
Nah, well, see, it fell out of he had a plastic bag, paper bag with like his pie or sandwich, whatever it was. And, there's someone who's just stuffed the serviette just on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it fell out right in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
And then he turned around and walked away. And I was like...
so he saw it and left
I think he did, you see. And I saw, okay, I'll be reasonable, maybe he missed it. Hey, mate. Hey, mate. Hey. And then I was like, he's not listening. Hey! And he's like, oh.
Man, you're going to have to turn that down on the recording.
That's fine. You can deal with a little bit of distortion for a dramatic effect, right? Hey! Oh. I think you dropped that, mate. Oh. And I said, look, I did the right thing. I said, look, my bad if you didn't, but I think you did.
Yeah, pick it up.
And he goes, thanks for telling me. And I'm like, thank you for putting in the rubbish finally.
So I've done
I picked up 2 bits of rubbish this morning. I put them both in the bin.
Probably one of the rudest things I've done to a stranger was around littering. That's not true. I've been drunk a few times. But this time I was...
You make an excellent drunk counselor.
I know, I'm really good at it. But I was drop dead sober, right? So I'm walking down the road and a guy's sitting in his car and he finishes one of those little Yakult yogurt bacteria drinky things.
Oh, is it the sucky slurpy thing?
No, they're real little small bottles. They're good for the gut bacteria. They're Yakult.
Oh, right, yeah.
They're kind of weird tastes, but you get addicted to them. So he knocks one of those back real quick.
Is that like a cigarette? Weird taste, get addicted.
Yeah. He drinks it real quick, and then he just puts it out the window and drops it And I was like, I saw him and I was walking, I was on the other side of the road walking. I saw him do it and it just triggered me, man. I walked straight at his window. He kind of looked like, oh God, this guy's coming to my window. I reached down, I grabbed it and I just leant in his car and then dropped it on him and was like, gonna litter in my country and wanted
Yes. Power to you, brother.
It sounds real bad though, in my country, like you don't belong here. But it was like, I should have said our country, but I didn't.
Well, this country was probably better. But
if he was born here, go get a passport for somewhere else, mate. Don't litter around this place.
It's all right. The emotion that was triggered was patriotism.
Yeah. It's funny though.
Which is the default American one.
Smokers like myself, I mean, flick our butts on the ground.
Well, speak for yourself, I don't.
I do.
I don't.
Yeah.
I have before, but shit, I feel guilty about it.
If I see a bin, I'll put it out and put it in the bin. And sometimes when I know the walk and I know the bins, like it's a familiar
hold
area,
it. Your hand stinks holding
I'll
it. I'll
stub it on something.
Your hand stinks, hey?
Yeah, but you can't go around like putting butts in your pocket.
No.
Like people will be like, you smell like cigarettes. And you go, yeah, I really smell like cigarettes because I'm doing a better thing for the planet.
Yeah.
But so I am guilty of just flicking my butt every now and again. But I do try to put it in a bin. But the thing is, there aren't enough bins. And that's the kind of thing with littering. Like, people will open their door and just kick rubbish out onto the ground and walk off. I've seen people, like, massacre a KFC meal in a parking lot and then just put it out their window in the back. This is back in the plastic bag days. They put all their KFC back in the bag.
They tie the bag and throw it out the window.
Oh, no, not tied, but yeah, close enough. Like, they lay it down on the ground. Like, that's good. And it's like, there's a bin over there. Or just leave it in your car till you're near a bin.
When I pick up rubbish and I put it in a bin, I always make a point of saying in a loud voice, effing grubs. And I pick it up, I walk over and I drop it in the bin. And I look around like, which one of you creatures was it?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the hobos look at you sideways like, what? What?
Yeah.
Oh, I know it wasn't
That's
you,
mine.
That was mine. I was keeping that.
Give it back.
That was storage.
To get that out. So, I mean, you know, when I was a kid and we go on car journeys, my dad used to pull over at places and there'd be a bin. And he would go, all right, you know, we'd have a feed in the car or whatever, or get little snacks along the way. And he'd do a little pullover and the car clean. And he'd be like, all right, here's a bin, get your rubbish, put it in this bag, da-da-da-da.
My parents are the same.
Yeah, and we'd clean the car and put it all in the rubbish bin and then move on.
Even on a piss trip, man. Like, I'm hammered in the back of a car going from, like, Invercargill to Queenstown or something. We would not turf our shit.
No.
You know? Yeah, there's the odd occasion where you throw a bottle at a sign. But, you know, that was generally just to be like, I can throw a bottle and hit a huge target at 100 k's an hour.
I've had guys do that at me, like I was a sign.
I once had a friend who leaned out the window at 60 k's and punched someone.
When you're wandering down the road, oh, that is bad.
No, the other person had really deserved that. Like, they had
60k, that must have messed his hand up as well, though.
Oh, he got big hands.
Oh,
yeah. But saying that the
he
other
was like, it
person,
didn't hurt, and then went home.
I feel like the other person had tried to put a bottle through his body or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's kind of
Something
scary.
like that. So it was a comeuppance type thing.
I've been casually walking down the road from a party, and guys who weren't at the party started biffing bottles at me from across the street just for their fun. And I didn't know what was going on because I'm just chilling, walking down the road.
Did they do the classic movie quote, dance, cowboy? And start throwing little bottles
They
at you?
didn't actually say anything.
Oh.
They were just trying to hit me with bottles while I wasn't looking.
What dicks?
And I could just hear, whoop, 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 whoop. And it was like, no, there was no psh because there was so much foliage around me.
Oh.
So you'd hear like, whoop, 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 whoop. Like imagine you blowing on the top of a bottle that.
Just
It's
heaps of that.
every now and again. And I was just like, whoa.
Is that music
Is that a bird?
or
So
projectiles?
I can feel things going. None of them hit me, but I was just at some point was like, oh my god, those guys.
How cool would it have been if you just act like nothing was happening, caught one, throw it back, and smash him straight in the face with it?
Oh, we can dream.
Can't we?
I would have been like, ha, catch it. Ah, it smashed in my hand.
Boss, how dare you use glass bottles? Speaking of glass bottles, I've converted from plastic. I actually have a glass Coke bottle that I continuously refill with water. This is my new drink bottle.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I've gone off the plastic thing. I've
Yeah.
tried where I can. Like I try and make these little changes that might be better for me or for the world in general. And I think not going through 3 or 4 water bottles and just keeping one.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good. Right
That's
thing to
pretty
do.
good.
Thank you.
And you know,
I also keep all my old plastic bags and shit.
we recycle glass and then reform it into bottles, right? Like
Yep.
the Heineken bottles, for instance, get reformed into new Heineken bottles.
That's why and it's only ever in a bloody Northern Territory or South Australia, you can get 10 cents a bottle. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm going to load these up in my suitcase, pay the extra luggage fee and take them over and drop them off, right? Can you not just put something near
me.
where I live?
I want money. So I went to India and all the beer bottles, like you'll get a box of beer, right? So you get a box of Kingfisher or something like that. all of the bottles are different.
You're a classy man. Box of Kingfisher.
Kingfishers are mean. Get them from India where they came from.
They're no godfathers, but I'll let you have it.
Well, you get Kingfisher strong as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm a poor student, bruv. I know about cheap beer.
But so over there, though, all of the bottles are different. They're different colours. You get your brown, your green, your clear. They're different shapes because they don't melt them down and redo them. They thoroughly clean them and then they just fill them again. So you don't get a box of Heinekens and all the Heinekens will be the same Heinekens.
You've just got a dishwasher who's got a job for his entire
That's
life.
crazy, man. It's interesting, though, because it's efficient and they're still trying to recycle.
At least they've given someone, like, I guess it's making jobs. I don't know if that's the best, most efficient, and especially in these times of COVID,
Yeah.
again, best way to do it.
Yeah.
Most hygienic way.
Well,
perhaps,
no,
is-
definitely not now. I mean, I went to India a few years back, but
Oh, right,
the,
yeah. Do you think they probably still do it, though? And there'll be some parts where they still do that practice.
Oh, probably,
Because a
yeah.
practice like that takes a long time to eliminate and innovate and sort of upgrade, you know?
But I mean, they
Longer than a bloody Windows update.
they can definitely clean them, so there's nothing wrong with it. But there is a point though that why are some bottles green, some are brown, and some are clear? In fact, it's because of the beer that's in them. So light ages beer and changes the flavour. The cheaper the bottle, like Flames, clear bottles, they don't care. And you know when you leave a flame too long and it gets nasty, that's because it's got too much sunshine on it.
I remember.
Green
Flames.
bottles, Heineken
Oh.
chose green because brown wasn't having the same effect on the beer that they wanted from the sunlight coming through. So the colours of the glass is actually designed to retain flavour.
That's very interesting, Leo.
Yeah, and so if
I
you
like
go
that
and-
fact. That's a good fact,
If
bro.
you just use whatever colour you want, somebody's getting like that. I'd just be sitting there going, "We having kingfishers in India? Mean. All the green bottles are mine. Like, you can have all the clear ones."
But then you have a friend like me who's colourblind. You go, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you just
Was
be
this
like-
your Kingfisher? I also can't read.
Or you have a friend like me who drinks so fast that you're like, you can clearly have all the clear ones, so the sun won't get to them before it matters.
You know what, mate? Have the flames. I don't care.
They are cheap for $15.
Are they? Are they still
Yeah.
cheap? Because they were cheap back in the day, man.
Yeah,
And
they were the kind of go-to. They're not as cheap as they used to be.
Yeah, because what they used to be, it was like
It'd be
15,
like $15 for 12.
something like that. Do you remember Double Brown was 20 for 20? It used to be 18 for
Double
20.
brown is nasty. I did it.
Hey, that's a horrible myth. You wash your little
It's not a
mouth
myth.
out.
I've drunk it. I fact-checked this one personally.
You didn't fact check shit, boy. Because I fact checked it and it was all right with me.
I did an ad once, and I've done
Full
many
Double
ads.
Brown.
One,
Well, that's a poor way of
no, it was,
advertising
a,
them.
it was a drink driving ad.
These are nasty.
It was a drink driving ad.
Which is ironic because he can't drive.
Let me tell the story.
Sorry.
Jesus, you're going to have to edit so much of this fucking crap out.
I'll edit your expletive Jesus
No, I'm
out
not
there.
saying it now. I can't be bothered.
Say it.
Something about Double Brown and the eggs. They were cheap. They
us
needed, so I did an ad, and they had beers in it, and they bought Double Brown because they were crap and cheap. They were props, so they used those. In fact, I think they could have used LMP and slapped on a label.
That's too much work.
No, but they were like, that costs too much more, and
have to
LMP.
get
We don't
LMPs
want to.
print?
We don't want to waste LMP, so they got Double Brown.
Well, fair. Then maybe they should have gone down $3 and brought flames.
Yeah, I could do with a flame. It is Friday.
It is Friday.
is
I've got
Friday.
work at 5 o'clock.
Oh, very cool. What's the? Oh, can we talk about your job on the?
Well,
On the potty.
It's officially a trial.
So you're not getting paid to do these?
No,
like
I am.
the podcast. You're not getting paid to do this podcast.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah.
So you just want more. You're just greedy, is what you're saying.
I'm the one who gives you your wages. You just don't know it yet, and I take a cut off it. Production charges in there.
You shouldn't have told me that.
Well, I did, because this is the
Well,
final
now-
podcast,
now I
so
know.
suck it.
What? But not, but I want all my money back.
You don't even get royalties, because you're a peasant. No, I'm sorry, Leo. You're a good man.
Peasants. We're the ones who invented shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
All the good food come from us.
Well, you shouldn't be cannibalistic. Ain't no point in eating a shepherd. You should eat his sheep.
Yeah, well, we tried that. It wasn't as good as the sheep.
The shepherd is flavoured well.
A shepherd must test all avenues.
And he is incredibly beer-battered, because he just drank a lot of flame
It's
and
been a lot.
double brown.
Now that's actually interesting because there's been a conversation about this. What goes in a shepherd's pie? And it's a lamb because sheep goes in it.
It could be mutton. Mutton is...
Mouton.
Mouton.
Yeah.
Is that
Mouton's
French?
It's just the other word. Yeah. So
It's just older.
well,
of course.
it's so the Saxons were the peasants,
Sure.
and they had the closer language to English, and they called them sheep. And they saw them alive and tended the flocks. The French, or the Anglos, were the richer upper class society, and they didn't do peasants' jobs. So they rarely had to deal with sheep, and they dealt with dead sheep on their plate, which was called mouton, and that's where you get sheep and mutton from.
Very clever. I didn't know that.
Yeah, languages are buzzy.
Yeah, they are actually. The more you learn, the more interesting they kind of get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should, there's a new show on Netflix called Barbarians, which is about the Germanic tribes.
I have seen it advertised.
Yeah,
Haven't
versus
watched it.
Rome. And what's really good about it is that they are true to the languages. So all the Germanic tribes speak something that sounds very German, but also every now and again sounds really English. There's a bit where the lady's saying, come here to a boy, and she's going, come to me, come here, come here. And she's basically saying, come to me, come here.
I got that.
Yeah, exactly. It was, but like the whole time she's speaking German, and then you're like, that is very English, and you can see where that language.
That's
evolved.
how it evolved, right? Yeah.
And all the Romans speak Latin.
As they bloody should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you get the translators in to translate for people, but most of the time you're reading it at the bottom. It's a
Man,
good show.
Netflix is flexing those subtitles.
Far out, yeah. No, it's good. It's good. The
is
thing is,
great,
I just can't scroll on my phone while I'm watching something, and that's also a good thing.
Oh, I can because I watch it on. I watch it on TV.
Yeah.
I'm civilized.
No, I watch it on TV and I scroll on my phone while I'm watching TV.
But you can't read the subtitles.
I'm
Is that what you
diddling
mean?
around on my phone while I'm watching TV.
Yeah.
Either that or I'm playing a game on my computer while I'm watching. Like I have to multitask all this stuff.
And they say men can't do it. We can, so.
I multitask like crazy. But
Sometimes I
but
do
with
number ones and
subtitles-
number twos all at the same time.
Subtitles, I'm like reading something on my phone, and then I'm hearing something, and then reading it on the screen, and then reading my phone, then reading the screen, reading the screen, reading the screen. And so if I start getting into a doom scroll, as I call it, where you're just scrolling for no reason on your phone, on any app, doesn't matter, you're just like, I'm scrolling. If I watch something with subtitles, I'll put my phone away so I can watch the show and read it. It gets me out of doom scrolling.
That's a great time to charge your phone. Fun fact.
That's the time.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
My phone charger, I got a Galaxy S9 Plus, a couple of years old, but I mean, it still does all the current things, right? Because what are they? They're up to S20 now, so they went 9, 10, 20. I don't know. Obviously, they skipped a few numbers in there. Good old Samsung. But that's what they did. So my charger
I'm
being
stunned. What?
Yeah, they went S9, S10,
Yeah.
S20.
I can understand why they skipped having Galaxy 1.
It was just
Because
called
they
Galaxy.
didn't need
It was
to
just
be-
called Galaxy.
Yeah, it was called the Great Galaxy. And then Galaxy 2. Did they go back and rename it Galaxy 1?
I wonder. Or you just say Galaxy and then people go, what number? And you're like, no, just a Galaxy.
Yeah,
but
just-
what number? That's how far it
Are you
started.
talking about where we live? And you're like, do you
God.
live in your phone?
Are you talking
I
about
see.
Milky Ways? No, nothing to do with chocolate bars.
He's such an awkward,
Wouldn't it though?
awkward rambling. Me and my friends had one of those the other day. We were talking about the kind of slave labor in New Zealand. You get one of the bigger problems that we're having with COVID and the lockdown is that we don't have these seasonal workers to go and pick apples.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're basically tourists who are like traveling on a dime. We get them to pick all our apples and stuff. And now there's no tourists and nobody will work for
As
such
Jimmy
low
Carr
rates.
put it, don't you take our Polish people's jobs. That's Jimmy Carr.
Jimmy Carr with us. My friend was saying, the thing is, if you get rid of all these apples, then you'll see a lot more doctors. You know, because the apples are what keeps the doctors away. And I'm like, right on. But then what
great.
I'm like, but hold on. Then we're going to have all of these doctors. So we could bring in lots of mountain gorillas to get rid of them by eating them. The mountain gorillas will come in and eat the
Why
doctors.
specifically a mountain gorilla?
It's a reference
As opposed to a forest gorilla?
Simpsons.
Oh,
A reference to Simpsons. We'll get these snakes in, we'll get rid of this problem. And then they were like, yeah, but then we'll have too many snakes. So we'll
that's
get
how
these
St. Patty
mountain
got
gorillas.
famous.
Yeah, so we're like, then we'll have all these mountain gorillas. But what we could do is we'll get lots of apples and we'll lure them onto boats with the apples and then send them off. But who will we get to pick the apples? This beautiful, ridiculous circle of crap.
Those moments are golden, mate. They're the sort of memories you remember for a while. It is absolute magic.
Sometimes a joke doesn't need to be perfectly formed. Sometimes it can be just so nonsense that it makes you laugh and your day's better.
That's it. And it's even better if you lag a little bit before laughing, because then everyone laughs at how long you took to get it. And it just adds to the
Oh,
spice.
are you trying to like say that you've been doing that on purpose instead of being slow?
No, but I realised I did it before. It took me a moment. The doctors and apples. What? Oh, no!
I've been laughing too quick all my life. God damn.
Comedy is timing, friend.
Yeah.
I look back to what you're saying, the doom scroll. I have a system for that because sometimes I do get into the doom scroll on like Facebook or something. I say to myself, if I don't see something worthy of clicking on in the next 3 posts, I'll close the app.
Yeah.
I do it and I go 1, 2, 3, goodbye. But some people have like this social media addiction. I think if I do have it, I don't think I do, but if I do have it, no, I can tell you I don't because I have other addictions. I know what they're like. I don't have an addiction to that.
Well, I think with addiction, sometimes they sneak under the radar of you knowing it's an addiction until it's taken away from you.
That Social Dilemma documentary, brilliant, on Netflix, as we've pointed out a few times. Since then, I catch myself out sometimes. Like, I'll pick it up and just click on it and go, you just clicked on Facebook, and I turn it straight off. Like, I realise I've done it, I stop it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do something else.
For me, it's the nonsensical notifications.
I've been working to turn those off as they come through.
But you know, sometimes, like, because they'll have normal ones, like somebody sent you a message. Oh, cool. And then sometimes it's like, you haven't been on for 3 days. And it's like, yeah, calm down.
Yeah. I hate the so-and-so is typing. I don't care what, I can't watch them type.
The ellipsis.
And this is not Google Docs. Like, I don't mind if Google Docs tells me that because you can watch what they're typing and watch their fuck-ups. It's quite funny.
I mean, I've been doing this for a while. I get so sick of ads being thrown at me. You know, we come from a time of
Where
TV.
are you? In the park with Frisbees? Hey! Hey!
Frisbee, don't snag my bee, man.
Vodafone's got a new data plan!
You know what? I can't remember if we were talking about that in episode 10.1 or episode 10.2, like whichever one it was.
It was point one, I can tell you.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was point one. Talking about snagging the bee, man. Goddamn yuppies and their phones getting cut receptions by Frisbees. So one of the things that I've been doing, and I've been doing it for a long time, this comes from us growing up in the TV era, I call it, you know? Not in the era where there was Sky. There was like 3 channels is all we had. And you would have a time for ad breaks, and shows would say, now for some ad breaks. And you knew that the ads were about 3 or something minutes, and that was fine. Like, you understood that was paying for
That
things.
was toilet time.
And it was also like interesting ads. Like, it was interesting to watch people create ads and stuff like that. But now, if I click on something like YouTube or something and it says, I'm going to show you an ad now, then I'm like, ugh. I do this thing where I cover up my microphone on my phone so I can't hear the ad, and then I look away. And I look away from my phone, I look around the room.
Do you count to 5 in your head so you can press the skip button?
No, well, sometimes it doesn't skip. Sometimes it's like playing one of 2 ads and they'll play in their entirety.
Yeah.
But because I feel like you're not setting up a situation where I can expect an ad or this is an ad break and you go, fair, that's fine.
It's like a mousetrap for humans. The cheese is the video.
Well,
you've got your little head in there and well, bam, now you're stuck watching 2 ads.
I can
to
understand
death.
that, you know, ads pay for stuff. Just the way that ads are coming at us now, when we've had them ad-free for a bit, and yet we still had the product that was still going well, and yet now it's like in your face. So I refuse to give them my attention. I don't hear them, I don't see them, and I look away from it. So there's none of that work goes into my eyes until the thing I wanted to watch goes on, and then I look back at the phone and take my finger off the mic, and I'm like, cool, off the speakers. I do that more subconsciously now. Because I feel like
it's becoming second nature.
Everything's coming at me that I refuse to give it attention.
Fun fact: to make something second nature, you need to do it correctly something like 4,000 times.
Oh, wow. Well,
properly second nature, you know, like walk in the room, turn on the light, that sort of thing.
Well, you know why that is?
I don't know what you're about to say.
Wow. Oh,
maybe.
Maybe I don't either.
Crystal ball's still in the shop, mate.
It'll be one of the second times I've said it. Oh. One of the second times.
Good England.
In your brain, you've got your synapses firing off, right?
Sure.
And when you do something, it's firing from synapse to synapse. You get... And you can fact check this for sure. But the more you do something, you create layers of insulation around the firing of that information back and forth. And so when you're hitting that light switch, your brain is constantly firing the same way with the same thought pattern, and it starts to create an insulation, which is making that fire off more efficiently. And eventually you get kind of a thick insulation around those synapses firing, that you have a habit you barely notice, and it does it so quickly that you don't even notice. And that's what you know when you do stuff and you didn't even think about it. It's because you're not even aware that you had to think about it.
Yeah, the biggest one for me, it's the order in which I wash myself in the shower.
Oh, yeah,
Weird one, but it's a thing, man.
No, but and everyone can relate to that,
yeah,
right?
I get
Nobody's
it.
like, what should I start with today?
Water's on, get in the shower. First thing I do, I drench myself in water. I get shampoo straight in my hair, and I got hairy armpits, so I put shampoo in there too. And sometimes in my butt. Not in, near, you know, because I got a hairy butt.
I think you
get over it.
You take that back quick enough.
Yeah.
No, it's in your butt.
I'm the editor. It'll be whatever I choose it to be. But yeah, I do that, and then I go to soap, and I start doing my arms. Same with when I dry myself. I start here, and then I go a little bit of face, and then I start with my arms, and I do the sides of my arms, this and that. Now you've pointed that out. I do it the same every time without thinking.
Yeah.
You
had those ones, and it's usually with hangovers, where you're standing in the shower, and you've been in there, and you know you've been washing, but you can't remember if you've washed everything.
Oh, dude.
And then you probably get out and find like soap in your butt crack and be like,
I hate
back in
leaving
the shower to wash
shampoo in your hair or like under your arms, bro. You leave soap or whatever
Yeah,
under
yeah,
your
you're
arms.
like, what
you
am I-
drying yourself
how
and
did
you're
I
like,
forget?
why is there bubbles?
Yeah. That awful moment where you're drying soap
You're
onto
drying
yourself.
soap, and you're like, it's just like doing the dishes. Don't worry about it.
It's true. I mean, I have a thing like that too, where I go for all the focus areas, armpits and stuff like that first, and
The
then
bits you think are going to be smelly.
I do face. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, because of chicken and salmonella, I'm very aware of like cross contamination. So like, if I do my pits, I'm not going to use that same suds that have appeared on my hand while like washing my armpits and then go to the face, right? So I'm gonna like do my pits and then I'm gonna wash my hands, wash the soap, and then start a whole new sud going on for my face.
And this is why our water levels are low in Auckland.
Yeah. And then I sing full Pink Floyd albums.
I sing ZZ Tops in the shower, and sometimes Oasis.
No, I honestly, I'm too loud. I get embarrassed. The neighbours can hear me.
You
There's some
just hear
showers
me
I
in the
feel
shower.
fine, yeah.
My missus out the other door, and all she hears is, "She's got legs." She's like, "What?"
I reckon
Yes, I have legs. Why?
a smart robber will be waiting. Like he'll be like, has a shower around this time, and as soon as he starts hearing singing, he's like, "This is when I rob them." He won't hear me smash the window. He won't hear me yank the TV off the wall. He's got a shower noise all around him, and then he's singing.
Isn't that a weird thing?
And as soon as you stop singing, he's like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah, get out of here, out of here. Yeah, isn't that a funny thing? Sometimes when you're in the shower, like you're home alone, you're in the shower, and you'll hear, but it's just because of the water. But you'll hear this dunk, dunk, and you're like, oh my God, they're here. I'm going to have to fight them naked.
Fight them naked. Yeah.
They're lost. Come on, boys.
I feel like as we get older, the more of those fears are going to pop up. Like when you're on the toilet and you feel a bit faint, and you're like, oh, they're going to find me like they found Elvis. Yeah. Like, didn't even get to wipe first, you know?
You better get all the poos out. So because you know when you die, you shit yourself. Yeah.
That does not.
If I was dying in the toilet, I would sit my legs forward a bit, I'd lean back and just go.
Just go.
Oh, at least the number twos are getting in the correct area. You know,
I would panic rush
maybe
out.
maybe the paramedic has to give me a wipe, you know, but he's got wet wipes. It's okay. Or she, sorry. They've got wet wipes.
I'm going to jump in the shower, wash my butt, and then pull my pants up and die in the shower fully clothed.
What was this dickhead doing?
As if you ever get like a countdown.
And we always figured he was a slut for sharing naked. Turns out he proved us wrong.
Dear Leo, you have 15 seconds until your life expires. Okay, just hit me at 5. Give me the countdown from 5 when you get there. Oh my god, wipe. Wipe. Run outside, pose. Okay, 5, 4, yeah, I'm ready. 3, 2.
I'm ready.
Oh no, there's still a little bit of a poop
And
in
you
there.
got to scratch yourself. You die scratching your butt. Yeah, he
The
was
psychic
nasty.
was wrong.
He was nasty.
His final words, the psychic was wrong. Spent my whole life waiting to die in that aeroplane and never caught an aeroplane.
Speaking of airplanes, I heard the other day a bit of a sad story. You know, Leonard Skinner, Sweet Home Alabama, Simple Man,
And
all
the
those.
aeroplane, yeah.
Yeah, the aeroplane man. So I think Motley Crue was going to take it, or one of those bands, something like that. They were going to take it, and someone said to them, "Don't take that plane. It's a little bit shady, and the crew aren't much good." But no one told Leonard Skinner this. They took
Yeah.
the plane, it ran out of fuel halfway, and gotcha.
Yeah, that's
That
pretty...
is so shit because they make such good, made such good music.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It was magic. You know?
I mean, that is, and also that person who was all like, oh, could have told them.
Yeah, like, why did you hide such a thing? Well, maybe this person did not know that Leonard Skinner wanted to use the plane. He or she just happened to be in the vicinity of the former band and said, oh, no, you guys are all right, don't do that.
Never leave yourself in the what if land, I reckon, because, I mean, I
They
crashed...
should add a sign on the damn plane.
Yeah.
Do not take.
Well, okay, so I crashed on my bike for the second time on the motorway, broke my collarbone, broke my ankle, ended up in hospital, all this kind of rehab for ages and stuff like that. And I still remember getting up before I left to go and ride my bike. And I got up and I put all my bike gear on, but I had normal jeans on. And I was kind of like, oh, should I go put my Kevlar bike riding jeans on? You know, I'd take a couple of minutes and I just went, nah, it's pretty hot out there. Jumped on my bike and rode off. Had I gone upstairs and put on the proper gear, not only would I not have these scars up my leg from the crash, I would have taken a few more minutes that I wouldn't have been at that point on the road.
Another side of that, though, something worse could have happened.
Yeah, and then
You know?
I guess
what if a
that's
car had pulled out and then
Yeah.
don't matter how much Kevlar you got on, son, you just hit that car point blank, you know?
the what ifs of life. I think they're more torturous than anything else. Just let it.
It's torturous to think about it.
Let it be.
That's right. Agreed, John Lennon.
Yeah.
yeah.
Was it John?
I think it was, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. But no, I think you just got to let that stuff slide, man. There's, you have
You can't live in regret, bro.
we have far less control than we think we do.
Oh,
over
you aren't
everything.
wrong
Yeah.
at all.
I do like that though, that you can come at those things now, come at them from another angle. Like if I'd have done this, he'd still be alive. And you're like, no, if you'd have changed what happened, 3 people would die.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I see.
Okay.
And then you would have had the, what if I didn't do that? And you go, well, then that one guy would die. And you're like,
It's like the whole thing of the
ethical
Simpsons.
dilemma.
Homer goes back in time with the time-traveling toaster. And they're
squish-
like, do not step on a
squishes a
thing.
bug.
And he like steps on the bug, he squashes a plant and sneezes on a T-Rex.
Sneezes on a T-Rex that falls over and kills all the
It
other
kills
dinosaurs.
everything, yeah.
That's excellent.
And you know what? It's scary because the Simpsons essentially run our world. They predict all the events.
They have totally predicted so many things.
It's quite messed up how accurate their shots, like even the drawing with the people, the signs, all that.
Yeah.
They.
Oh, you mean with Trump going down the escalator with Trump for president?
Yes.
And he won it, and he actually went down an escalator like that.
See, I don't know if it was a setup or
But
not.
some of those people in the background look like the people in that show.
There was another one recently. I can't think of what it was, but it was like, holy shit.
Have you
If
seen the
this-
2000 the 9/11 one? They had a magazine of New York, and it had the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it had a 9 on it, like it was worth 9 cents or something, and the Twin Towers make the 11.
Oh.
And there's a plane, like a silhouette of a plane flying in the background. So it is so symbolic of what happened on 9/11, and they did it like years before in a Simpsons episode.
So what happens if like this
Honestly,
whole
look
thing?
that up because there are so many.
Yeah,
There are
no, I
so
agree.
many.
That, but I have looked at a lot of those, but I don't recall any. Except that really the Trump one is what stood out.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. I have read those posts. But imagine like
What if Simpsons just gave him the idea, and we were all like, "Yay, Simpsons!" And it's like, "You bastards!
yeah, look at this. Oh,
What other crazy things have you done that were funny at the time but would actually be really bad?"
hey Melania, come in here. I've had this thought, and no one knows more about being the president than I do.
No one has thoughts like I do.
No one.
No one has
Not even
amazing
Kanye.
thoughts. I know so much. I know the most about wind.
Imagine like the odd theories you could think of from that. Like, okay, number one, Trump really liked The Simpsons and wanted to reenact the scene. Okay, that's one option here.
Yeah.
Okay, a second option, if all the you hear these outrageous conspiracies, well, they're not so outrageous. They're becoming less outrageous as information is shared better and more things are being proved to be true. Right?
Yeah.
So like,
It's kind of good that in a weird way people are doing more fact checking now and
That's right.
learning how to use the internet properly because of the kind of.
And I feel like it's taken 20 years too long. But hey, whatever.
I mean, we're still in the middle of it. You can almost smell a change on the wind that
Agreed
Trump
with
knows
you.
so much about.
Agreed with you. But think about it. Say there is this grand conspiracy and these, evil rich bastards do run the world. What happens if the reason The Simpsons appears to predict things is one of their ringleaders is just a massive Simpsons fan? And he goes,
Exactly.
guys, come in here. Look at this. We're going to do it. Goddamn, we're going to do it.
All right, we're gonna have a meeting. What do we do next? All right, what are we gonna do
Turn
next,
that
guys?
TV off. Oh, hang on. Turn that up. Turn that up.
So,
That's
well, I was
good.
watching The Simpsons the other day. Yeah, we all watch The Simpsons. We know that. Yeah.
That is-
that was a good idea. We should do that. Oh my God. Let's do exactly that. Mr. Spacketer.
Yes. I used to have a friend who keeps a dry herb vape in a Mr. Sparkaroo case hidden in his vehicle.
I love Mr. Spacketer.
Yeah, me
I
too.
watch a lot of Japanese stuff. So I've been watching the show recently and I just keep imitating the voice acting. And I'm like, a part of me wants to do more voice acting. I mean, a big part of me wants to do voice acting.
And you should, like, with all seriousness, all
It's
my
so
stupid
fun.
shit aside, you have an incrible voice and
thank
even
you.
as deep as it is. No, I'm tickling your ego, but I'm being serious. As deep, it's like a background for him. As deep as your voice goes, being baritone, like same sort of class, if you will, as mine.
Yeah.
Yours has these incredible highs and lows, and you can manipulate in such a way that I cannot. Now, when I do stupid voices at home, which is constantly, shout out to my wife who puts up with that shit. Even the pigeons put up with that, mate.
That's how you get good at voices, doing silly voices all the time.
My thoughts exactly. But I often think like, I bet Leo would have nailed that. I do, bro. I legit think that.
I've got to get Leo to refine that one for me.
Especially when I'm drinking a cheap beer.
Yeah. But I mean, doing voice acting, I think that'd be so much fun. But then, like, there are things where I'm like, would they let me in if they just gave me the lines in Japanese? Like, I could say a lot of that stuff. I don't know. I can't speak Japanese, but I could be like, "Yo, kotsuruge, atotsugerugo." Like, I could do that stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
You just sign up to the international meetup app they have here in Auckland, and you could get a Japanese person off that to help you. You know, you'd be like, "This is what I think it is," and they'll be like, "You said that word wrong, but the rest of it's not bad." And you'd be like,
yeah.
"Thank you."
Yeah, the rhythm of that's wrong.
And they don't drink alcohol at the meetup, so here is your frappe.
Yeah.
I know this because
Your frappe.
yeah, frappe, cold coffee.
Oh,
That's good shit, man.
That sounds good, actually.
It is a little stereotypical, but I worked at a cafe in the city for a while. It is stereotypical, 100%. But a huge portion of our Asian customers all just absolutely love a cold coffee. Like the iced Americano, iced long black, that sort of thing. And it is another stereotype, but it is somewhat accurate, or at least from what I saw. All the Indians want like 4 or 5, or Nepalese, or anyone from that area of the world, between 3 and 5 sugars per coffee.
Oh, yeah.
That's, I don't know why, but they do.
No, I mean,
do.
that, I don't think you really need to call them a stereotype thing as it is a cultural thing. Like,
Yeah,
think of China and stuff like that coming out with those teas that we're seeing now with the little balls in them.
The bubble tea?
The bubble tea.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that is, part of the sweeping culture over there is cold tea or cold coffee as more of a dessert thing.
Hey, and I'm not arguing with them. I loves me a bloody cold coffee and cold tea.
Japan's actually amazing at having little coffee houses that are like perfectly made just for coffee and normal coffee, not the cold ones.
Yep.
But that was a few years back. They're starting to pick up the cold coffee craze as well. When I went to India, and my parents have travelled around there, they have these beautiful coffees and matcha. No, not matcha. That's that green.
So is this an Indian variant on coffee?
Yeah, and it's very spicy. And
Okay.
it's amazing. Like, it's really good. And they sweeten them up.
They
So-
really sweeten them, at least here.
It wasn't so much. I mean, I used to have 3 sugars in my coffee when I was younger, or 3 sugars in my tea, which is far too much. Yeah. But then I realised that that's just too much sugar.
If you have it now, you just go, ooh.
Yeah.
Like you've the opposite to eating a lemon.
I try to cut salt and sugar out of my diet a year or 2 back, right? Just entirely out.
Don't go too easy on salt. Salt's all right.
Yeah, well, the thing
Get
was,
the good salt, though.
The thing is you get into a habit of having too much salt. And it takes about, I think it's 10 days for your taste buds to renew themselves. And so for 10 days, everything tastes really bland without sugar or without salt. And then eventually you start tasting all the real flavors that the salt and stuff was hiding from having too much salt. And I did this with sugar in my coffee. I got all the sugar out, and coffee was like far more bitter. And like all the flavors of coffee were there, it was fine. And then eventually I kind of thought, I'm not actually enjoying the coffee like I used to. So I put a sliver of sugar in there, and it rounded off the flavor.
Okay.
And so it wasn't even the fact that I didn't need 3 in there. I just needed a bit because it's that combination of flavors that I was used to.
Another answer to that is getting a different style of roast of the coffee bean. So you get light, medium, and dark roast. Now, your dark roast is strong in flavour, but there's less caffeine because it's been roasted longer. Medium is kind of your balanced one, and the light is the opposite. It has more caffeine, but less punchy on your taste buds. Yeah, a lot of people think it's the other way around, but it's not. Yeah, dark
green, eh? Like they're green.
Yep.
But there's also a pink cacao bean. So like you can make chocolate that's pink.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing.
but
I've
it
even
does-
tried pink beer. That's
Doesn't
all right.
taste like strawberries though, or raspberries for that matter.
Oh, but before we move to topics, what you were saying about the taste buds renewing themselves.
Yeah.
I read this, it was a bit of an article a few years back I read. I think they're from the UK.
Just
or
got to suffer
maybe-
it for 10 days.
Maybe America or something like that. These people cut sugar out of their diet. They wanted to do it for a month, right? This family. Now, when they first started doing it, they eased themselves in, and once a week they were allowed like 1 slice of cake or something like that, or, so that, to that effect.
Yeah, like a cheat day.
Okay, so they did that, and then as it went on and on and on, they didn't want that treat any longer.
No, it's too sweet.
And that's the thing. And after a while, I think the mother had a slice of cake a couple of months in, and she got the most ridiculous headache, man. Like she was cooked from it because it was just far too much.
Yeah,
you know?
as the body regulates itself to the lack of
Body's
it.
like, what is
Suddenly
that
she's
crap?
been hit by that crazy sugar energy and it's
Yeah.
too much. Well, I mean, I had it with, I love fried chicken. I frickin' love it. Like, who doesn't? I mean,
I was about to say that. Yeah.
vegetarians love it, for God's sake.
They love the smell of it. Deny it or not, you like how that smells.
They just have a better willpower than me, all right?
yeah.
When I
you
cut
wish your damn jackfruit smelled that way.
When I
and
cut
tasted
out
that way.
salt, I'd have to order food and say no salt, right? And then I got fried chicken one time, and it was naturally salty, but they'd also put salt on it. And
It can be very easily to overdo that.
I would smash fried chicken in one sitting. Like if people were saying we need to go somewhere, I'm like, you will wait until I finish my fried chicken. But now I couldn't get through half of it. I couldn't get through half of it because it was so salty.
I agree with
and it was
that,
nowhere
man.
near the level of salty I used to
Absolutely
eat.
agree with that.
Yeah, so I had to put it aside, drink lots of water to try and get the salt out of my mouth, and then I had to go and eat it another time.
Our solution to that, drink a beer.
You know what's good though?
Drink a beer will get that
Yeah,
saltiness off you.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, don't even, because it's Friday, man. I feel like a beer. But one of the things though is that, and this is a really good thing, if you're going to quit smoking, that's a long road of suffering, right? But if you cut sugar and salt out, it's just 10 days of suffering. And then your taste buds renew themselves and you're good. And you can just keep it out. In fact, 10 days later, everything's going to be too salty, too sugary for you.
That's very interesting.
But it's nice because it's a short turnaround. And our attention spans are crap nowadays.
It's like getting fit. I mean, people eat a salad, they're like, do I have a six-pack yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I've eaten well for a day, like, look at myself in the mirror, like, you slob, you know? Yeah, but you know what I mean?
I've woken up very hungover and I remembered that I didn't eat anything the day before. And then I look in the mirror and I'm like, fit,
Yeah.
mean headache.
Dehydration, bro.
I'm like Wolverine in the movies and how he got a mad headache every time he had to do a rip muscle scene.
Did he?
Yes. Hugh
Jackman, you mean?
Yeah, Hugh Jackman. For those scenes when he was shirtless, he would dehydrate himself.
Oh, so he looks legit.
Yeah, so
But it's common in weightlifting competitions too, bro.
Wouldn't drink water, and then he would eat only one thing on the day of the shoot. And this is without water throughout it all. And it was half a boiled potato because that is a natural absorber of moisture. And so he'd eat that and it would absorb what was left in him.
He has
And
had the
then
most
make him-
ultra cotton mouth you've ever met.
Yeah. He said those were the hardest shoot days because not only was he, he's a really lovely guy, but when you're dehydrated and stuff, you get a really bad headache. He was grumpy, he was short-tempered, and he hated being like that around people, but the whole time he's suffering with a headache while he's trying to do these scenes, which probably brought out a bit more of that Wolverine stuff.
He probably played well.
Yeah, and made him ripped as hell, but he was like, it is not worth it. That is not a walking around weight. Like, you cannot do that.
Yeah, well, I've got a mate over in Oz who does the same thing in like bodybuilding.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it anymore, but he used to, and it would be that like the day
Just
leading,
the day of the bodybuild.
like the day before, or a couple of days leading up, you start altering your diet and what you're having, or probably even longer than I don't know the full story on it, but I know, yeah, there would be like a day or a day and a half where you just barely have any liquid, and that sort of thing, and just to make the veins in that stick out.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
So on that big,
And of course-
crazily bronzed, by the way, that is
Yes.
the weirdest.
It's to
And
ma-
the girls wearing high heels, I find that really strange as well. Like, I know they're putting their calves out, but you can stand on your tippy toes because we know what you're doing. You
Yeah.
don't need to strut around in your bikini. Like, a bikini and high heels just still weirds me out to this day.
And you all look like
Big
you're
earrings.
related to Donald Trump with that colouring.
Yeah.
It's orangey bronze. You see one light, it's
some of them
orange.
go real dark, eh?
Oh,
You see them
yeah.
like normal day. It's almost like they're doing blackface. And it's like,
Black body.
yeah, that's...
Are you the reverse Michael
I am
Jackson? by any
starting to
chance?
think this is racist.
Yeah.
But like, and those smiles that they have, why would you teeth whiten and darken your entire body?
It's all a contrast thing.
Yeah.
Because
But those smiles are fake. They've got mad headaches and they're dying inside because they're so hungry.
yeah, and they're not even being paid like Hugh Jackman was.
Yeah. You look so healthy. You're not. You don't. And the thing, you don't look healthy.
I'm going after this to get a damn cheeseburger, man.
Weirdly tanned, fake teeth, strange outfit. I know you're muscly, but you don't look healthy.
See, I have a personal dislike of fake tan. I never used to. I never used to know the difference, okay? Living in Southland, we don't have a lot of sun,
Yeah.
and you would see these sort of tan people getting around, and I just thought, they must have good genetics, that sort of thing. Like, they've got the nice olive skin. Some of them did, but a lot of them didn't. Now,
Yeah,
I only
yeah.
really learned this when I went to Australia, because there's a lot more tan in Australia
You can,
with the great
you
weather.
kind of see the uneven, homemade
patchy-
ones.
the
That's when the patchy bit.
patchiness.
Then you're like, oh, was it worth?
Like, you'd start, because I lived in an area called DY, and it was quite renovated, like the whole area, they've redone everything. And so it was a real bustling little area. And there was a reasonably nice beach, like, say, 3 blocks down the road.
Yeah.
So because of that, we had, on the hot days, we would have a lot of people dressing for summer. And you would see, well, eventually I begin to learn, like, oh, that is incredibly fake. That
Oh,
tan.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that is a real tan.
That's a real tan.
Now, when I get back to New Zealand, and I'm like, holy shit, there's a lot of orange spray paint here. And I think it doesn't help because I'm colourblind too.
It's also the orange, though. Like, the orange is not a natural tan.
No, but you see, I never thought of that as a horny,
Why did they
horny
say
teenager.
that's the
or,
colour?
You know,
That's the colour we want. Like,
Yeah.
who went, well, I'm making a tanning lotion, and I reckon, let's not go natural tan. Let's go for cool fluoro tan. Like,
yeah, I want to glow in the dark.
yeah, New Jersey.
Hey,
Hey, you with the shirt. I like your V-neck. It's a nice cut. But so, with the tan thing, because I don't tan, right? I live in New Zealand where there's a hole above above us in the ozone layer.
can I just say amen?
Yeah, and
I don't tan much either, man.
burn it. Like, and I
I got a freckle tan, cuz.
yeah. You guys can't see us, but we are pasty white. And
We don't change colour in the height of summer.
no,
We do. It's red.
no, yeah, go
red.
lobster red.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to be really careful.
Yeah, man.
But so I did an acting job on the Tribe, and they tanned me up, and it was the first time anyone's used fake tan on me. It was reasonably natural, wasn't that kind of orangey one? And I had never seen myself tanned before.
Well, what did you think? Well, like,
you had to,
looking in the mirror, I
tear
wanna-
me away from the mirror. I was so happy. Like, I was kind of like this weird, oh my gosh, my life. But like growing up Māori, in my mind, I was like, I would have loved to have been Māori brown.
Dude, growing up in Bluff was the same. All my mates, a larger portion of Māori genetics in them. So they had these beautiful tans most year round, and then they would shine in the summer.
Bastards.
And I'm just like this pasty kid, like, Mum, have you got more sunblock? You know?
My mate going, oh, I got sunburn. And I'm like, you just look even more deliciously brown. And I'm like, I got sunburn. And they're like, we know, we saw you coming. Like, we saw you from
We
a
can
distance.
feel the heat radiating off you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like, settle down.
Well, it goes back white if you give it a good slap, and it will stay that way for about 5 minutes with your handprint.
We used to call that a body glove at swimming lessons. Bang on their back like that, you know. Remember the old brand body glove you used to sell at the
You
warehouse?
saying that just makes me feel so bad about
Boom!
hitting people with something. Cause I
Oh
just
man, we
do it
did
all
way
the
worse than that.
time.
We would sit behind people in the bus and like whack their head into the window.
Oh no, that's
mean.
real mean. Yeah,
I didn't do it much because I did it once and I thought, nah, I don't want to be part of this. This is me.
No.
But
That's the
yeah.
beginning of coward punching.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I never did coward punches, but yeah, a coward just donk.
A coward window donk.
Yeah, pretty much was. That's
Kids
so
are
true though.
cruel.
Bullies are cowards, man.
Let's start with that. It's like the less intelligence you have, the meaner you are. You don't understand. Maybe it's not intelligence. It just seems a bit too mean in itself. In fact, it's empathy, man. I think my empathy is growing more and more after COVID. Like, I can't
Mine
watch television
definitely is
without
too.
getting like overwhelmed by
Even
people
just
on
coming
TV.
to this course, because we have such a variety of walks of life in our class, you know, even that is making me more empathetic. I've never had in my life a successful discussion with a religious person about religion that did not result in a Mexican standoff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in a yelling match.
yeah, I never really got to a yelling match, but the incredible built-up frustration.
Oh,
and
well, you're just
the-
like, you're an idiot. I'm not talking anymore. Like,
Yeah.
why am I wasting
But
my
I
time
had
with
the
you?
first successful one the other day with Jethro,
Yeah.
and Jethro is a good man. He's
I wouldn't say he's devout, but he's
quite deeply religious.
He's firm.
He's
firm in his
Firm's a
religion.
good way to
Yeah.
put it. Yeah. I see. I didn't realise this the whole time, but it turns out that what he sees as the concept of God is not the dude wearing slides who lives on a cloud.
Yeah.
It is like a source of creation. And I'm like, okay, I subscribe to a similar theory of my own making, but it's based on a lot of the shit I've read about. You know, we're all energy. We are literally all stardust. The energy had to come from somewhere. And then mine goes a bit deeper. Like, mine goes into
Science!
DMT. Mine goes into DMT and shit like that. Like the source of all creation. But hey, a lot of people
Multiple
say that.
like parallel universes and stuff. You know, it's the
Bro, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, well,
Nothing would surprise me at this point.
I'm
Earth season 20 has been epic.
technically agnostic, so I just piss everyone off. I sit on the fence.
I don't know.
It's that person being like, pick a side, and I'm like, but if I'm on a side, the other side looks greener. But if you sit on the fence,
You can see both.
not only do you have a better view, but both sides look pretty green. I find the concepts that we talk about as God and the way people go about it to be quite ridiculous. And also just people's fervent belief in that, what I would consider to be quite silly. Like, and I like reading fiction. I used to go to Bible studies as a
I
kid.
love RPG games, so
And
I'm in the same boat.
Even as a kid, I wasn't like, oh, this is true. I was like, this is great storytelling, but come on. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like I could figure out the difference. But if you were to say to me, do I think God exists? I would respond saying, why are you asking me? I've only had 37 years on this planet. I don't know shit.
That is possibly one of the better answers I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, I don't know. And I've spoken to you about
No, not
noetic
possibly.
science.
That is one of the better answers I've ever heard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I don't think an 80-something-year-old has had enough time on the planet. I think priests don't know shit. I think people who are telling you so firmly,
They just
because
believe
somebody told them so firmly,
That's
is
it.
not a good enough reason
See,
for me.
I'm not a fan of tradition, except if it's like a nice tradition. You know,
I like little rituals.
yeah.
Rituals are fun.
I'm always like, you're just doing that because some dead person told you to do that.
Oh, yeah. And
That's-
some dead
tradition
person told
passes
them
down.
to tell them to tell
okay,
them to tell them.
circumcision. Here you go. Circumcision's
yeah.
one. You know, I bloody hate that. And so many kids in the States lose their dicks every year because of botched circumcisions. Because why? Or because that guy who's dead now or assumed he knew better, he told me to cut my son's skin off his dick.
Yeah.
Isn't that a fucked up concept?
so
And
my-
even worse than that, we want to do it in the traditional method. Oh, so you use an old blade with a creepy old man who likes holding
we use
kid
the
dicks.
same one and we don't wash it because it's no. We use the same one we've been using
You
for
think
decades.
COVID's bad?
No, so I've got some Jewish mates, so I had a good chat to them about it as well. It is a tradition. It's not necessary now. There's weird things that people do it for now, like it makes it bigger. It's like it makes it look bigger, and you lose sensitivity. Makes
You know
me
what
last
else? Like,
longer.
you know what else makes it look bigger? Just shave the plants around the tree, man.
Mow
the lawn.
One of them was it makes you last longer in bed, and I'm like, that's because you're missing out on the beautiful sensitivity.
You know what else makes you last longer in bed? Lube.
Yeah, or Kegels.
What is a Kegel?
Kegels is a practice of doing exercises in your pelvic area.
Oh, like what's his name? The creepy dude who shagged Stifler's mum on American Pie.
Oh yeah, I think he did.
Is it
Kegels.
Kev?
No, he was he doing Kegels or was
He was doing like
the
some sort of
Indian...
method. He's like, I can hold an orgasm for days.
Oh no, that's
What's his
I can't
name?
remember the name of that. That is a different one. That's I'm not going to remember it.
Yeah, but you know I'm
But
talking
yeah, no,
about.
that's like a weird kind of energy thing. And I believe it works as much as the rest. But no, Kegels it was more famously known for women who had given birth to go and do Kegels to strengthen their pelvic floor because after having a baby, there's a lot of looseness and stuff going on down there. I don't want to say any words that's going to offend anyone. And light bladder leakage.
The wizard's sleeve has gone up a size.
Yeah. But you end up with a kind of light bladder leakage and stuff like that. But the thing is, it happens with dudes as well. But with dudes, it can help prolong how long you last in bed if you're doing Kegels. Just being stronger down there means you have more control and you can flex more and you last longer and stuff like that.
Okay, I can get that, sure.
My Jewish friends who I spoke to about this said it was the circumcisions happened because they spent so long in the desert. So the desert,
They're getting sand in it?
yeah, getting sand, dirty, nowhere to wash. So without the foreskin, they were clean. It was a hygiene issue.
I can understand the desert thing a bit, but I probably would still.
It makes more sense than, hey, guy told me to cut my son's willy off. I said, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. Like the Jews famously were in the desert for 40 years.
Yes,
a very long
that's-
time.
yeah.
Some wars weren't that long, which is, I guess, a good thing.
It is a very good.
But I said, you're not in the desert anymore. You get up and have a shower every day. Do you still need to cut it off? And they're like, oh, well, to be honest, I was a baby. Like, I don't remember it, and my parents didn't. So they didn't have any choice. I've got another friend from the Philippines. Him and his brother had it done to them when they were 12 and 13. But they were given the money for the circumcision and told to go to the doctor by themselves, and they went together to the doctor. He did it to his kids at like 5 and 4, 5 and 3 or something like that. And I was just like, I think there's a time. It's too late. That'll scar them.
I feel like that is not something you should force on anyone. And if you do force shit on your kids like that, fuck you.
Yeah.
That is entirely their choice. It is their body. It is not yours. I don't care how
It's
vicariously
like giving
you're
a kid
living.
a tattoo. Like...
That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
Here, look, I really, really like Fords. I'm going to write this on your arm and you're never getting it off there.
There is a thing that it's circumcision.
I shouldn't compare Fords to circumcision, sorry.
Circumcision. There is a circumstance of circumcision that circumvents the that circumvents
circumference of the
circumvents
penis.
the religion, and it's basically because some guys have a smaller opening at their foreskin, and so erections are extremely painful.
I met a guy who was the opposite to that. He came
This
out.
is the biggest, flappiest foreskin.
It was like a sausage.
land.
It was like a sausage that had been wanted to be a bigger sausage, but it was not. And he'd come out. Me and my mate are working in a garage. We were putting, I think, gearbox back in a car or something because we used to be car nuts back in the day.
I shouldn't laugh, but
No, that's quite funny. And he'd come out saying something, and he's wearing a towel. And I walk up to him. His name is Jeff, so shout out Jeff. And I just grabbed the towel like yoink. And then me and my other mate Dave are all like,
it swung around and slapped you in the face.
no, it didn't.
What?
And I was like, it's like having a whole big pack and save bag for a muesli bar, you know?
You know what I love? The first thing I think is you whip the towel, but you looked at it. Like, I know that if I whipped the towel off a dude, I would specifically not be looking at it.
Okay, now, the funniest thing relating to looking at things that you probably shouldn't have. I was watching Dave Chappelle recently. I'm a big Dave Chappelle fan.
Yeah.
And he's going about how Caitlyn Jenner, you know, formerly Bruce Bruce Jenner, the Kardashian
The
father.
famous athlete.
Yeah, yes, exactly, the Olympian.
The notoriously dim-witted athlete.
Caitlyn Jenner, it must have been a year or so ago now, was talking about posing nude in like a Playboy or a Hustler or something. Okay. Now, the point Chappelle makes is, you know, kind of nasty for some people who don't want to see that. But he goes, let's be honest, I don't have the willpower not to look at it.
Not to look at it.
I kind of want to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the,
Yeah.
you know?
It's the curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back.
Like,
Yeah, I gotta say,
Maybe sausage skin brought it back, man.
I'd
Shit.
be tempted to have a look myself.
honestly, I would, because
I'm more worried about my
she-
levels of arousal. If I look and I go, and then I'm like,
You start making excuses. You start making excuses for yourself, like,
no, it's okay to be aroused, but do I want to be? There's too many thoughts to process.
you're like, God damn, there's tomatoes on the bench. That's a fine ass
I
tomato.
just look away. No, but the thing is, okay, I'm that kind of weirdly gentlemanly type guy. I've had girls flash me purposely to make me embarrassed because they'll say, "What do you think of what's written on my t-shirt?" Right? So I look down at their chest to read what's on their t-shirt, and then they whip their top up, and I'm immediately looking
Hang
at
on,
the clouds
hang on.
before I see
Where are
anything.
these girls?
Yeah.
Where were they when I was single?
Spotted throughout my life.
Where were they when I was single, man?
I've had that so
like
many
these hot
times.
teachers, God
but
damn it.
I have, and I find this a really annoying reaction. I immediately look up so I don't see anything. I'm like so good at it that I don't even go, "Oh no, a booby," and then look up and not have it in my head.
I've just done it. He is really good at this.
Really good at this. He just flashed me, and I'm like looking at the ceiling. I can see nipples in my peripherals.
Yeah.
I have this reaction to it. I don't see it even for a second. Like I can see the action of a top going up, and I look away to give them privacy. So I can't even get like a photo memory in my mind.
I think that's
of a
very
quick
kind
move.
of you.
Yeah.
You know, but
I had one girl ask me about how her areola looked. And I had the hardest time to like bring my eyeline down. She was like, "No, really, I just want you to give me your opinion." And I'm like, "Are you freaking serious?" Like looking at the clouds. "Are you freaking serious?" You know, she's like, "Yeah, kind of look down." So
will the
like,
clouds start looking like titties?
I had to really, I'm wishing it. I'm like, look at it. I wish they looked like titties. I had to really consciously force myself to look at it. And I had to do it almost like a doctor to be like, yes, okay, we're not going to get aroused by this. We're going to look at it critically. We're going to step back from my own opinions of things and look at this critically without.
I'm looking at
without
it
Leo.
as a human, not as a man.
Yeah. Looking
know?
at it, someone without genitals.
And then you're
Look at
like,
this.
God damn it, it's some fine ass areolas.
They were really good.
Just like little biscuits.
That has happened to me enough in my life that I'm annoyed at the fact that I don't look. Like, you know what I mean?
What a bizarre set of problems you have.
I know, it's bizarre. No, but like, say if I was in a relationship with somebody or in an intimate situation, they did that, I'm fine with it. I'm not like an awkward, weird, like, "Oh, no, I can't look at them while we're in bed." She's like, why can't you look at me? Like, I'm fine with that. That's normal. But it's those random kind of situation where people are like, and I'm like, nope. I'd immediately look away.
Oh, look, there's a space station. Yep.
It is, yeah.
Elon, you up there? Elon.
Yeah, nipple star in the sky.
Oh.
Yep, sure is.
That sounds real round, just like a titty.
But that's funny, like that's kind of built into me though. So if it's the same, like I don't
Where
go,
did that
I don't
come
go to a
from?
urinal and think,
Can I
I'm
ask
so
where you
curious.
think that initiated?
I would have just been brought up to respect people like that, and
Yeah,
like,
sure.
and give them their privacy and stuff.
Yeah, okay, I respect that.
You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I don't need to know everything as much as some things I really want to know. And people, when people tease you with stuff, that gets me, man.
I'm a big subscriber to, you can't tell half a story.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care if you change names or whatever, but I need to know what happened in
Or
that
that- you know
situation.
that, guess
Because you've
what?
told me half of it.
Oh, guess what? And you're like, what? And they're like, oh, actually, never mind. Oh, Timothy!
No, now I mind. I really,
Yeah.
really mind.
That gets me. And so don't tease me with it. Don't set me up with it. But if you're like, I don't really want to talk to you about this, or this isn't information for you, it's private and stuff like that, I can do a little switch in my head where I go, okay, I'm not going to like worry about that, put it in the back of my head and it's gone. And it's kind of like that with people's privacy. If I was to walk into a room and there was somebody with their pants down, I don't go, their pants are down. I like can tell their pants are down and I'll turn around and I like, don't worry, I didn't see anything and move on out.
I do the opposite approach and I make a big deal of it. Like,
Yeah,
but in a
like,
humorous
oh,
way.
look at it wiggling around. And you're like, stop looking at my clitoris.
The word clitoris is real cringy, eh? Do you reckon?
Nah, it's fun.
What's fun about that?
everything
It's a
about it.
funny thing.
Everything about
it's
a
a funny
clitoris
term
is
to
fun.
call a dude in a boat. A dude with an oar. It's a kind of like a little man in the boat, That's what they call it.
It was a little man in a boat.
It's an odd description, but it has been given.
I've never heard that. A little man.
The little man in the boat. Let's give me a little rub. Yeah. Nah, but,
All right, let's bend away from this discussion. We're wandering into our R18 land now. We won't get all our viewers because this is a family show, and definitely you want your kids listening to everything we've created over the
you'll
last 10
bestow upon them
episodes.
some incredible knowledge if you give this to your kids.
Oh, that's freaking amazing.
Mom, there's a man in the boat. What is it? And she's like, oh,
Mom,
snap.
apparently you didn't have to circumcise me.
Yeah. Now, you made a real, shall I say, cock up of this?
Oh, on that note, do you know what a schmuck is?
I have an idea, but do tell me what you're about to
It's
say.
the removed foreskin.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ah,
Do you know what a dork is?
yes, a
Whales?
whale's penis.
Yes, that's
Do you know
right.
what a dude is?
A guy?
A camel's penis.
Is it?
Yeah.
Dude.
Dude!
Dude, where's my car?
Big dork? A big dork? Whoa, okay.
That's a
not-
big dude. No,
that's
he's
not
so
even a-
big, he's a dork.
That's not even an average-sized dork. A big dork? Wow, thank you so much. That's ginormous. It's like people saying, oh man, I saw this giant elephant. And you're like, no, it's just a big elephant. But a giant one would be outside of the average range
That's
of
right.
size for an elephant.
On the bell curve of statistics, it is an outlier.
I mean, a giant elephant's probably 3 stories tall or something. That is crazy.
Yeah, like Godzilla. That is a giant.
I love emphasizing that actually in conversation where people go, oh man, I saw this giant something. I go, what? Oh my God, what in a science lab or something? What's out in nature? We've got to capture it and get it in a zoo, experiment on it, do tests. Why is it so big? How has it lived so long? They're like, no, it's very big. Just very big. You should be more careful with your words.
You should be. I take things literally. Hence the panic you have now bestowed upon me.
My life a huge shadow fell on my life when you explained that.
It was a giant shadow.
It's a giant shadow?
My God!
That's unnatural. They can only ever get so big.
God damn.
Until they get into giganticism. Gigantism?
Yeah, Andre the Giant had on gigantism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also that
7'4".
giant skeleton they found that, mythically goes around. There was one that was like 6'7", 6'9" or something.
Oh, they found...
Yeah, it was gigantic.
There's a lot of photos of archaeologists excavating these big skeletons. It's actually a thing.
Oh, no, there's a lot of those are Photoshopped.
Yes, I am aware of that.
It's like the big snake and the big fish. They've clearly Photoshopped.
I went to giant graves in Sardinia, and that's an interesting thing. They do kind of look like you'd put a dead person in that.
Have you found the giant in Red Dead Redemption?
Don't spoil it for me.
It's a giant skeleton.
Well, it's going to be actual giant at home because, like I said, when I put it in first person, his fist's the same size as mine. I'm going to walk up and punch that.
You go find it. He's up on top of a hill, and it says skeleton.
True that.
It's huge.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's magic.
Yeah. I would mark it on a map for you if I could.
Speaking of gaming, do you know there was a thing in Grand Theft Auto 5, and it took the gamers like 2 years to work out. It worked out to be like these symbols on rocks and shit like that.
Was
and
it
then,
on a mountain?
Mount Chiliad.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was like these symbols on it, and then your character could find, I think it's like a depiction of these symbols on this mountain, and there was all these fucking clues, man, all these clues for so long, and it turned that in the end you would follow this trail of clues, and your character would take something, whatever was there, consume an item, whatever you found at the location, and you would turn into like a Bigfoot or something for a day.
Really?
Yeah, but what they discovered more than that, and this was like 6 months later, a dude did it at a different time on a different day, and he turned into something else. And then there was all these things.
But you only get one of them.
No, you can do all of them.
Oh, so once you got the item, you can use it.
You
as
find
much as you
different items in different locations, I believe.
Oh, okay.
It took these gamers like 2 years to work it out, bro.
Rockstar's really good for that stuff.
I really enjoy Rockstar titles, man. They're great.
I think even the cave things in Red Dead Redemption, there's probably more to those as well than we realise.
Absolutely.
You find them all.
Okay, here's a question. In Red Dead Redemption, you go into, I don't know what bar it is. It's in one of those little towns, the trading post one, on the east coast of the map.
Kind of around the swampland.
And there's a guy just walking around asking, have you seen Gavin?
Yes.
You don't get a quest for it.
Yeah.
And
I've talked to him and he was all like, oh, fine then. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And I went back there like, probably months in the game time. And he's still just walking, has anyone seen Gavin?
Yeah. He's an English dude.
Yeah, that's right.
So you've almost got to
My friend Gavin.
You've got to keep your ear out for another English dude, I think. That's what I reckon.
That's what I thought, I've been doing it, but I haven't found Gavin.
I haven't found Gavin either.
I don't want to Google it. I want to stumble across him.
I have come across a lot of the ghosts and stuff.
Oh, now you're killing it for me. I haven't seen a ghost. God damn.
Yeah, they're ghosts. And
I did find
especially out
the-
in the swamps. There's like a lady hanging from a tree, and then she's like not there, and then she's like standing in the distance with a huge kind of flowing gown. And that game is so full of stuff.
It's so good,
It
right?
has aliens and ghosts, and it has a shark. It has a shark in a game. You don't go into the water for a shark. It's outside of the map that you shouldn't be able to get to, and yet they put it in there.
In GTA 5,
It's a tiger shark.
if you take the submarine, because you use submarine GTA 5, if you take it so far off the map, a megalodon eats you.
How cool!
It's cool. I've done it.
Yeah.
It is ridiculously
How
sized.
do they even finish these games? Like you see, they've delayed Watch Dogs to come out.
Oh, yeah?
But we've known that they've been making it for so long. But then,
What about Cyberpunk 2077?
oh, sorry, that's what I meant. Cyberpunk, yeah,
Watch Dogs
this
is
one's been
looking
delayed
good too.
Yeah, Watch Dogs Legions.
But Cyberpunk looks next level.
Yeah, but
It
so
really
that's been
does.
delayed, and a lot of entitled little monkeys are saying like,
Oh, stop it.
how,
And
they're getting death threats, bro. Like that's
do not
ridiculous.
threaten them for finishing a game. They are not Bethesda releasing half-done shit.
They did not have to make this for you. Where are your parents? It's amazing that they're so entitled. Anyway, that game has not been in development for as long, but it was made by the same people who do Witcher 3, and that is a really detailed game.
What is the studio called?
Yeah, I think it's like.
Do you see the motorbikes in there? So, you know Keanu Reeves is involved with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He actually owns
He's like a ghost in it the whole game, apparently. So
Oh,
he's done
true.
heaps of work in it where every now and again you're talking to people and he'll just be adding
There.
his own little snide remarks in the background of the scene.
That's cool, mate.
Yeah,
That's
it's
real
really cool.
What I was going to say, though, is he actually owns a motorcycle company. I think it's called Arch Motorcycles or Arc Motorcycles, however you want to pronounce the CH on that. Now, they actually, to get the design of the motorbike and the sounds and everything, they actually built futuristic motorbike, which is cool, bro.
Yeah, that's very cool.
There doesn't appear to be many stars around that are as cool as he is. He seems like a cool dude, man.
He really is, man.
He seems like such a good bastard.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? When you see the things he does and
It's by the way, it's Project Red, and Project spelt with a K.
yes, that's correct.
Project Red is the company that makes Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk.
I reckon to see a man with that much affluence and wealth still just being a normal dude restores a little bit of faith in humanity.
All that stuff about him, like still catching the subway and like
He
hanging
lives
out,
in just a
catching
little
bus and-
one-bedroom apartment.
You'll see him on the streets,
Yeah, just wandering
just
around.
hanging around. Yeah.
Who's the blonde-headed guy? Is it Jack, someone off the news here in New Zealand?
Oh.
Blonde-headed dude.
Off Channel 3 News.
Yeah, little blondie fella.
Has
What's
he
his
been?
name?
Has he been doing the anchor stuff recently?
I don't know.
More recently.
But I saw poor Larry say hi to him on the street yesterday, and that dude said nothing back.
Did he look at Larry or did he just ignore him?
He was on the phone, but I think he's pretending to be on the phone. He's walking past because we had the fire drill out there. I don't know if you were here at that point. We had a fire drill. We had to go outside. Yeah, and then we're standing out there, and I hadn't seen Ra. You know, Ra the tutor.
Raniera.
Yeah. What's his full name?
Raniera. Well, that's his full first name.
Raniera.
Yeah, so it's Raaniera.
I didn't know that. I knew it was longer than Ra, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Good on you.
Yeah, it's good. Man.
But yeah, so I was like, oh, mate, I haven't seen you in a while. How you been? Just talking to him. And then old mate, the little blondie fella, walks sort of through the crowd and like around to get a, oh, God, people, oh, peasants. Oh, God, I reckon the news. I shan't be talking to these people. Larry's like, g'day, Jack, how are you? Long time since I've seen you. And he snobbed him. And I was just like, I said to Ra, you see that? Yeah, mate, it was bloody tragic, wasn't it? How dare you snob Larry?
Yeah, Larry.
Larry is an OG.
He's been in the industry for so long as
He's-
well. Like you got to give you respect.
And
where
he
it's
gets the
due,
full
man.
credit of the OG there. He's original gangster, man. He is.
More FM was nothing without Larry. and
Apparently,
Ken and all
fun
that,
fact, he used to look a bit like yourself back in the day.
Ah.
He said there's a photo around here somewhere.
Makes a lot of sense.
Well, to be fair, like for his age, what is he, in his 60s? He doesn't look old for his age. And he certainly doesn't act like he's in his 60s. Stop.
Well, it's all about attitude.
That's right.
For our course that we're doing these podcasts because of, but now found true joy in it, are we going to do awards? And will I get all of them?
You'll find out next
Find out next time on. Are we doing a next one?
on the final episode of 2020.
No, I don't think we'll get awards for. I mean, it'd be really cool if we did because I have seen people talking about somebody getting ducks, and I think that's a bit silly. Like, I think splitting up awards.
Oh, you need
and being able to-
categories. You need categories.
Yeah.
Like,
and you should even make some up when you
Most dramatic.
when you no, when you realize that like when everyone but one person didn't get an award, you make up an award for
Yeah.
them. Right? Because otherwise, good attitude.
actually, Larry's quote he's got out there written, attitude is everything, so pick a good one.
Yeah.
I said that in my interview the other day, and they loved that.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh, the dude's like, oh, you're flowing with energy, you got a good attitude. And I was
That's
like,
right.
I was like, brother, attitude is everything.
Good
So
one.
you got to pick a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, that's good. But the reason I felt
I can
comfortable
think of
saying
somebody who could get the worst attitude award.
that, is it me? No. Oh, good. Yeah, thank God.
You're all right. You're all right.
Yeah, I'm in the middle.
No, I think you're up there in the attitude department. No, you're right.
I'm trying to think.
There is someone that I do
What
know
award would I get?
who has a pretty bad attitude a lot of the time, and more as it goes on, to be honest.
I can only speculate.
Yeah.
You know.
But then there are other ones who aren't here anymore. They could have got that award very quickly.
Yeah.
We've had people literally dip a little toe into the course and never come back.
That's true. Or some of them dip like the majority of 2 legs in there, and then they just don't come back.
Some of them were trying to dip things that weren't a toe.
Yeah, and it wasn't a course they were dipping it in.
Get the hell out of here!
It's not a course they were dipping said material in.
Not at that age.
Yeah.
Not to the age you were talking to.
No, thank you. Yeah.
Anyway, we should really wrap this one up because it's
We
gone on
should.
a bit, and it is getting late in the day, and we've got other things to do. We don't really get paid for doing this.
No, not yet. Not yet. The attitude is everything, Leo. We don't get paid yet.
No, that's right.
That's it.
I'd do it for free. Just be nice and pay me when you instead of asking me to do it for free.
I may be a peasant, but I like royalties.
Nothing wrong with it.
Oh, well, look, thank you for enjoying 10 episodes of us just...
This will be the longest individual episode, right?
But that's fine. Finales are supposed to be that way.
Yeah,
Ask
why
Netflix,
not?
bro. Ask Netflix.
Exactly.
40 minutes throughout the series. What do you mean an hour 10 for the final? Buttons.
And we are really sorry that you missed 10.1.
I did not buy enough popcorn for an extra 30 minutes of content.
There is no way we can replicate the golden 10.1 episode you missed.
Yeah. That's completely my bad. So, hey, look, maybe I'll get an award. Greatest omission.
yeah. But it was similar to this.
Beautiful. And as I say, Paul Martier.
And Matewa.
I think that was all right.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a shame we did miss the first one. It was flying real well. Yeah. It was flying like a pub conversation.
I was like, oh, this is a real long one now.